Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my video. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series Nails in the Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. When this video goes up, we just have 3 days left until Halloween, and I hope you guys are getting ready, because I know I am. And by the way, when I'm recording this, Halloween Ends is not out just quite yet, since I'm recording this, a few weeks ago. Here's a summary of the average Nails in a Coffin for all the Halloween movies I've covered so far. And if you're wondering why I may look just a little bit different, it seems the stress of trying to dodge Michael Myers for the last 12 weeks has caused some of my hair to turn gray. Maybe he won't recognize me, we'll see. Well, we're covering Halloween Kills today, and this movie has the highest body count yet in the entire franchise, so really there's no time to waste. The good thing for me though, a lot of these kills all happen at the same time, so I will be bunching some of them together, or else this video would be too long. So sit back, relax, and it's time to put some nails in a coffin on Halloween Kills. This movie is very similar to the way Halloween 2 takes place the same night as Halloween, because Halloween Kills takes place the same night as Halloween 2018. When the movie starts, we see Laurie, Karen, and Allison being driven to the hospital. Allison's boyfriend, Cameron, is walking home, and he finds Sheriff Hawkins, who actually survived the attack from Dr. Sertain, which is why they didn't nail him last week. He says that Michael has to die tonight, and he has to be the one to do it. We do get a flashback to 1978 when the original events took place. Officer Hawkins and Officer McCabe are searching for Michael Myers, and they come upon his old house. During the search, Officer McCabe is in Judith's room looking out the window, but Michael rushes at him from an adjacent room and slams him into a wall, and he wraps a rope around his neck while he's bashing him into the wall. Officer Hawkins rushes into the room, points his gun at Michael, telling him to, drop Officer McCabe. Michael is still strangling McCabe, but Hawkins decides to actually do something. He fires his revolver and hits Officer McCabe in the neck. Michael drops the officer, goes outside, and McCabe looks up at Hawkins as he's leaning over him, and he asks if we got him. Hawkins lies and says they did, and then McCabe passes away. The first of many deaths in this movie, and Officer McCabe is going to get one nail in the coffin. And my main reason is they were searching, for Michael inside his own house. They were on the hunt for a madman who already killed people that night, and they were in the guy's house. Officer McCabe had his guard down looking out the window, and Michael was able to get the drop of him. They split up when they were looking around the house, and he just acted like there really was no danger inside the house of the madman who's been killing people. Yes, Officer Hawkins was a moron for taking that shot, but because he had a lot of better options to try and save McCabe. But McCabe was a poor officer in this situation, allowing Michael to get the drop on him, and you're searching for a crazy man. So, Officer McCabe, I'm giving you one nail in the coffin. We get back to the present, and firefighters are arriving at Laurie's house, which is now fully ablaze. Fireman Bentley is in the house with the hose team, and he falls through the floor and crashes to the basement because the floor gives out underneath him. Michael opens up a metal gate where he was hiding from the fire, and he picks up the halogen bar that the fireman dropped, and he bludgeons Fireman Bentley in the head, killing him. Fireman Bentley, I think he's going to earn himself 2 nails in a coffin. He was a fireman, which already does make him a hero. The floor gave away under his feet, and he fell all the way down, crashed into the basement floor. He immediately called for support and, called for help, and Bentley really had no time to react since Michael appeared from this, hidden gate in the wall, and he didn't expect a maniacal killer to be there. He picked up the halogen bar and crushed his head. Bentley probably didn't have much of a chance to do anything since he was most likely injured from falling to the floor below. But yeah, he couldn't have done much here. So Fireman Bentley, I should say, is going to get 2 nails in the coffin. Firefighter number 2 dies next. We weren't given his name, so he entered his house and he's trying to give assistance to Fireman Bentley. He was reaching down to grab Bentley's hand so he could pull him up to safety, but it was impossible really to see anything in the house because of the fire and the smoke. So instead of Bentley grabbing his hand, it was Michael, and he pulled him down to the floor below and killed him with the halogen bar. So firefighter number 2 is going to be awarded 2 nails in a coffin. He was trying to save his teammate, only to be killed by Michael. He really didn't make any stupid decisions. He was in a burning house trying to save his teammate, and I think the least he can do is earn himself 2 nails in a coffin since he pretty much didn't have any option to, not get killed right now. Michael then goes outside and slaughters 9 firefighters, but only 4 of them are on screen. When he steps onto the porch, all the firefighters prepare for what's about to happen, And I will admit, this is probably my favorite segment in this entire movie. It does look pretty cool when Michael is stepping onto the porch with the fire behind him, holding the Halligan bar. It's just a shame they kind of ruin this in the trailers. But one firefighter tries to spray Michael with the water hose, but it does no good. Michael walks straight up to him and kills him with the Halligan bar. Three other firefighters try and attack him with fire axes and a circular saw. Doesn't really do any good. Michael quickly dispatches of all three of them, and then he kills five more firefighters off screen, but I'm not going to be able to rate the four that he killed that we were able to see. The first firefighter with the hose, I'm going to give him one nail in the coffin, because I don't think that hose was fully open. If he opened it all the way to a solid stream, the pressure may have been just slightly greater to slow Michael down, but Michael walked right through it. Also, he just kind of stood there when Michael got closer, and he really didn't even move or do anything when Michael was approaching with the Halligan bar, and Michael just took the Halligan bar and pierced it through his head, and the hoseman never really moved. So that nozzleman is going to get one nail in the coffin. The next three firefighters that die on the screen, I'm going to give each of them two nails in the coffin. They tried to fight Michael. Two had axes, and one had this large circular saw. Michael killed all of them easy, but at least they attempted something, and they tried to fight. They just didn't stand there and freeze. And when the firefighters, the PPE that they wear is not easy to move in. It's heavy. They're carrying a lot of equipment. So they probably didn't have the mobility that Michael did. So based on all that, these three firefighters earned themselves at least two nails in a coffin apiece. Michael kills the entire ladder company, and he starts walking home. Laurie's next door neighbors, the Dickersons, are at home right now. Phil was awoken in the middle of the night by the fire trucks, and he comes downstairs to his wife Sandra, who is playing with the drone. When the drone is thrown out of the bathroom, Phil goes to investigate and discovers Michael Myers in there. He locks the door and attempts to warn Sandra, but Michael punches through the glass door, bangs Philip's head against the wall, and then impales his neck on a shard of glass. Sandra attempts to flee, but she can't get the door open due to her panic, so she grabs a kitchen knife off the wall to defend herself. Well, Michael pulls out a light fixture, breaks it, and stabs it directly into her neck. But before she dies, she's actually forced to watch Michael grab Phil, place his body on the kitchen table before proceeding to stab him in the back with multiple kitchen knives. Yeah, another very, very brutal deaths in these movies. I'm going to give Phil and Sandra each two nails in a coffin. You know, Phil really wasn't given much of a chance. He saw danger, locked the door, told his wife to call the cops. He tried to get to safety, but Michael Myers got to him first and, broke through the door and killed him with that shard of glass. And he really necessarily do anything stupid. And I think the same goes for Sandra. She tried to get out of the house, but she was having trouble with the lock. And normally I would take points off for that, but she did try and grab a knife to defend herself. So balancing all that out, and plus she had to sit there dying, watching her husband being stabbed multiple times in the back was brutal. And yeah, balancing everything with these two deaths, I think both of them definitely going to deserve at least two nails in a coffin apiece. Lindsay Wallace, Marion Chambers, and Vanessa and Marcus Wilson are all in an SUV together. They stop by a local park to warn some kids about Michael Myers. And, Lindsay is by a swing set telling the kids the GTFO, but Michael shows up by the car and climbs on the roof. Meanwhile, Marion tries shooting with her revolver, and she locked all the doors using the child lock, so Marcus and Vanessa couldn't get out of the SUV. They break a window and Vanessa climbs out and runs. Michael gets on the roof of the car and opens the driver's side door. Marion goes to shoot him, but common trope, she runs out of bullets, so Michael just climbs into the car, stabs her to death. Marcus tried to strangle Michael with his stethoscope, but Michael just kind of looked at him, took his knife, and stabbed Marcus in the eye, killing him. Then Vanessa approaches the SUV with this Desert Eagle handgun. She's approaching it, shooting at the car. Michael is just kind of sitting there. He kicks the car door. It hits Vanessa's hand, and she winds up shooting herself in the face. So, first up, Marion. I'm going to give her one nail in the coffin. I don't know what she was shooting at. I don't think she knew I don't even think she knew what she was shooting at. She locked the doors instead of, trying to, get out of there running, because a locked door is not going to stop Michael anyways. They probably would have had a better chance if they at least tried to run. And she must have thought her gun had an unlimited amount of bullets, because she didn't even think about that shooting, since she wasted so many rounds. So for that, one nail in the coffin. Marcus, I'm also going to give him one nail in the coffin, because Michael's able to stab him in the eye, and Marcus didn't even flinch. When he saw the strangulation, wasn't even doing anything. Marcus didn't move. He just kind of stood there staring at Michael as Michael just takes the knife and stabs it into Marcus's face, killing him. So Marcus didn't do anything really. He's going to get one nail in the coffin. Now we're on to Vanessa. 0 nails in the coffin. I have no idea what she was shooting at. She hit everything except Michael. She even shot the grill of the SUV. I don't even know if she was trying to aim. She was just shooting at whatever. And Michael kicks the car door, and Vanessa's hand turns all the way around. She pulls the trigger and shoots herself in the face. She was stupid, and that's going to be an easy 0 nails in a coffin for Vanessa. Couple Big John and Little John are the current residents of the Myers house. Michael Myers breaks into their house. Big John and Little John split up to go look for the intruder. As Big John enters the bedroom, which is Judith's old bedroom, Michael comes up from behind, stabs him in the armpit, and then finishes Big John off by gouging his eyes out in one of the most brutal kills in this entire franchise. Sorry, but I'm going to have to give Big John one nail in the coffin. Big John and Little John both knew somebody was currently in their house. But Big John wanted to go protect his man and his house, and I commend that. However, he grabbed a charcuterie knife, which is a small cheese knife, as a weapon. They never phoned the police or anything, and they also split up. And, he died in one of the most vicious kills from Michael Myers throughout the entire franchise. But the best I can do for Big John here is give him one nail in the coffin. Little John does find Big John, and he's crying over his body. He's devastated. Michael is standing in the bedroom looking out the window. Little John says, "Michael, you've come home." And Michael turns around, walks towards Little John. And then the scene jumps to outside, and we just see Michael walking towards Little John, and we hear a scream. He's killed off screen, so no nails in the coffin for him, but I'm pretty sure there wouldn't have been a lot of nails anyway. After Michael kills Big John and Little John, he actually arranges their bodies in the reverse of a picture we just saw, and he even put a record on for them. I don't know, for some reason this moment really stands out to me as, this is a very violent movie, and it's just kind of odd that Michael Myers decided to pose them in the reverse of the picture that we just saw and puts a record on for them. It's an interesting scene. So, meanwhile, Tommy Doyle is at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital getting a posse full of morons together. They're all chanting "Evil dies tonight," and it's very, very cringe. They think Anthony Tivoli, which is another escaped mental patient, is Michael Myers, and they're chasing him all throughout the hospital. He winds up in a locked corridor, and the mob is closing in, trying to break through to get him. He's scared and doesn't know what to do, so sadly, he jumps out of a window and unalives himself. And if you know me, when this happens in a movie, unless there's a sacrifice, I choose not to evaluate that, such as this one. So, we are getting close to the end of the movie now. Lonnie, his son, Cameron, and Allison are outside of the Michael Myers house hunting for him. Lonnie goes in alone, and Cameron and Allison go in a short while later after they hear a gunshot. Allison and Cameron find the bodies of Big John and Little John, posed how I just previously mentioned. Cameron is in the hallway, and he finds his dad's body hanging out of the door to the attic. He was killed off screen, so no nails for him. After Cameron finds his dad's body, Michael bursts through the hall closet and starts stabbing Cameron in the gut. Allison tries to save him, but she just gets thrown down the stairs and she injures her knee or her leg. Michael does finish Cameron off by beating him to death between the banisters on a staircase as Allison is screaming, watching. There's a trend with this movie, one stupid decision after another, and that's going to result in one nail in the coffin for Cameron. You had two children trying to play hero with no clue what they were doing. Neither one of them had probably ever fired a gun in their lives, and they were aimed way, way over their heads. I know they wanted to go, Cameron wanted to go find his dad, but yeah, it was just one poor decision after another, and it just led to Allison almost getting killed and Cameron getting killed. So the way I look at it for this Cameron, the decisions he made, it's easy one nail in the coffin. After Michael kills Cameron, he walks downstairs to get Allison. He's about to kill her, but she's saved by her mom, Karen, who stabs Michael with a pitchfork and knocks him down. She's able to rip the mask off his head, and she gets Michael to follow her down the street where there's a mob of citizens waiting for him. They all attack him with bats and crowbars, and one woman has an iron, and one guy does shoot Michael a few times in the body. And they all get him down on the ground, and they think they, have Michael Myers finished. Karen walks over, picks up a knife, and stabs Michael Myers in the shoulder, as if that was going to end it once and for all. And she goes over to be with Allison. But guess what? Michael Myers gets up and slaughters this entire mob. He killed Officer Brackett by slashing his throat, and then he kills at least 5 members of the mob by slashing their throats or stabbing them. And then finally, he finishes rampage by stabbing Tommy Doyle in the chest, killing him. I don't want to set a precedence here on Nails in a Coffin, but my hands are tied and I really don't have much of a choice. There's so much stupid in here, I couldn't justify giving somebody one nail in the coffin. So, for the deaths that we saw tonight, the 5 members of the Evil Dies Tonight mob that we saw get killed, Officer Brackett, Tommy Doyle, and the others, I have to give everybody 0 nails in the coffin. Now, I'm not going to make it a happy, so I can preserve the dignity of Nails in a Coffin, but this ending was a special kind of stupid. People had guns, and nobody could figure out to put a bullet in Michael's head.
You should have gone for the head.
And then plus they were shooting him in the chest, and they were walking up to him with the gun. Again, maybe they thought the bullets would get there faster. I don't know. And after he was down, they're standing around the body looking at him, and Karen stabs him in the shoulder. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you guys disagree with me, let me know, but this entire mob is so much stupid. You're not going to see 0 nails in a coffin often on here on this series, but yeah, this entire mob at the end are easily going to get 0 nails in a coffin because it was a special kind of stupid. So, Karen is consoling Allison, and then for reasons, Karen leaves the side of Allison to go up to Judith's room in the Michael Myers house to look out the window. Somehow no one noticed that Michael Myers, got back up, killed the mob, and walked back into the house. So, nobody notices. Karen is looking out the window. Michael appears behind her and stabs her to death. Again, I'm not left with much options here. I'm going to end this Nails in a Coffin episode by giving Karen 0 nails in the coffin. She should have stabbed Michael in the head and instead of the shoulder. They had guns around them. Nobody decided to use it to shoot Michael Myers in the head. And why did she leave her daughter and the police and, where she was somewhat safe to go look out of the window in Michael Myers' room? Even if she thought Michael Myers was dead, and his body was still in the street, why would you leave the side of your daughter to go look out of a window? I don't know, to reflect on something. Yeah, this is just a frustrating movie with the amount of stupid in it. Not going to set a precedence with the 0 nails in a coffin, but a lot of the decisions in this movie just did not make any sense whatsoever. So, for the final kill in Halloween Kills, Karen, you're going to get 0 nails in the coffin. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in a coffin for Halloween Kills. Here's a look at a summary of all the nails I've awarded. And here's a look at the average nails in a coffin for all 12 movies currently in the Halloween franchise. Now, depending on how things work with copyright claims, I'll know more, in a couple of days once Halloween Ends comes out. I may or may not be able to actually cover Halloween Ends next week on Nails in a Coffin. Eventually, I will get to it. But if I am unable, next week will be the wrap-up with my Golden Nail Awards for the entire Halloween franchise. I do want to thank everybody for watching all these videos. I've had a ton of fun. I've had a ton of fun trying to avoid Michael Myers for the last 12 weeks. And, I love making these videos, and I really do appreciate everybody watching. Covered a lot of big franchises this year. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream, Urban Legend, Friday the 13th, and Halloween. I'm not sure what I'm going to cover next, but yeah, you will get a new Nails in a Coffin episode every Friday. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. Again, have a happy, safe Halloween. Eat some candy, go to some haunted attractions. I did. It's a blast. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.